Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second show of Local Beats this semester, where we talk about anything and everything music. I'm Dane Aragon.
And I'm Maddie Steele. Tonight is filled with exciting content on the local music scene in Fort Collins and trending music. All right, let's get into today's topics. Last Friday, Dane and I went to the Aggie Theater to catch Los Mocochetes perform, the Chicano funk band, and the upbeat tempo that's easy to dance to while also combining political and social messages within their lyrics.
My name is Joshua Randy Abeta. The band is Los Mocochetes, and we are a Chicano funk band from Denver, Colorado. We've been a group for about 3.5 years. Met through Los Mocochetes met through a nonprofit organization in Denver called Youth on Record. Diego and I became friends, and then he introduced me to Elias, who turns out is my cousin. Met Hoser through a different organization called Art from Ashes, doing poetry. Met Eli through Elias, and our drummer John was just a friend of these guys through the music community in Denver, and we all started just kind of hanging out and playing together.
Moco Cheetahs, it means mocoso with machete. Blending words, you know, is like fun. Yeah, it's hip hop, you know, like making things, like blending things, always making it like fresh and new, and like in English or Spanish or whatever language, you know, like that's what culture is like the evolution of that, using the platform of Spanish to create something new and like define ourselves. You know, we feel like we're Booker kids, you know, we like to have fun and joke around, but at the same time we like know how to use our machetes for good, and we know how to keep them sharp, and we know how to continue to like craft ourselves to be better.
We have a lot of writers in the band. I would say Hoser's most well known for the poetry because he's placed top 5 in the International World Poetry Slam Championship. Diego does a lot of slam poetry. Our drummer John raps, and Elias and I both write, and so we all kind of use the pen as one of our tools. The song Gypsy, Rest in Peace, it talks a lot about the changes that our city has gone through, being born and raised in Denver and seeing a lot of new people come in, and seeing the culture change and gentrification, and seeing places that we love shutting down because the rent's too high and people can't afford to be in the neighborhoods they were raised in. If you look on an even further arc of history, a repeating of the cycle of colonization, where Europeans came over, and you know, pretty much everyone in the band has indigenous roots, and just to see another wave of people who came from elsewhere to kind of like push the people out economically and culturally, that's what that song speaks to, and so that is probably the most personal song. Well, it was the 50-year anniversary of the West High walkouts, and so that's a pretty significant moment in Chicano history, especially in Denver. That protest began because so many Latino, black and brown students were being mistreated by teachers who generally tended to be white. Civil rights was pretty fresh and desegregation was fresh, and even though schools were integrated, black and brown students weren't being treated fairly. It's imperative that we get on our feet and do something. And to honor the people who stood there before us was really crucial. And if you listen to our music, a lot of the messages of the music are in that vein of taking action to change the world for the better.
The sun will shine. Let's see, it's been like, what, 4 years now that I wrote it? It's funny because I just found the journal, and it was like a journal that I was carrying around in a real small journal. I was seeing, I was like capturing, and through how I seen it, how I felt about it, you know, because I was on the bus in the morning time, about 7 in the morning, and like grabbed some coffee, and like there was this woman with like this super like minked out jacket. She like got on the bus like and was like on the phone all crazy and stuff, and I was like, why am I even judging this person? You know, like, who am I to judge anyone? You know, really, you know, like, I'm here like getting to work, like, you know, we're all in existence like for our purpose, you know, we're doing our thing.
Yeah. So my favorite thing about Los Mocochetes was how electrifying they are on stage. Everyone was dancing in the audience. I loved it. I was even tapping my feet like a couple of times. And I also really appreciate how family oriented they are. Family is really important to them.
Yeah, I agree. Like, speaking of family, we were talking before the show with them, and their grandparents are from this town in New Mexico, Joshua and Eileen's
No way.
family. And my grandparents grew up in the town right next to them. So, like, yeah, it's just super cool. How,
Small world.
Small world, yeah, it is.
Definitely.
But don't go anywhere just yet. Beats on the Streets will be back after the break.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
What up, Local Beats? My name is Maddie Steele, and today we're doing Beats on the Street, and we want to know, what is your favorite feel-good song?
My favorite feel-good song would probably have to be, here, let me just look my Spotify real quick.
Yeah.
Self-Care by Mac Miller is probably my favorite. Hurt Feeling's really good.
I got all the time in the world, so for now I'm just chilling.
Oh man, it changes every day. Right now it's Run by Sir Sly.
How come?
I don't know, it's just like happy, but it's also like, do what you need to do.
Run. Get my shoes off and run.
Something like I'm happy. Have you heard that song?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm happy. That song.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
My favorite feel-good song right now is Juicy by Doja Cat. Always puts me in a good mood.
Is Beast of Burden by the Rolling Stones.
I love Rolling Stones. Do you like classic rock?
Yes, I have a Rolling Stones tattoo even.
No way. Where? If you don't mind me asking.
Right here.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So why Rolling Stones?
I just grew up listening to them. My cousin's name is Jagger. Our family's just a big fan.
Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles is a good song that just kind of gets me ready for the day.
Listen to that song in the morning. I'm also a huge Beatles fan. What are like your top 3 favorite Beatles songs?
Ooh. Yeah. Hey Jude is number 1. Here Comes the Sun is number 2. Yellow Submarine is number 3.
It's Ocean Breeze by Surfaces.
Nice. How come?
It's got a nice melody. It's soothing. It makes me think of like a cabin in the beach, wearing all white. It's super mellow.
Wanna be, or am I caught in a fantasy?
You know, Maddie, it's so cool to hear all the songs we hear on campus. Like, I learned so many new artists and albums. It's great.
Yeah, and I think my favorite feel-good song is definitely Toto by Africa. I meant Africa by Toto. I always mess that up. And I also really like the cover version with Weezer. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I play that song and I always have a smile on my face.
Oh, same.
What's your favorite feel-good song?
Probably the Disconnect by Counterparts.
Nice.
It just, you know, gets me going.
There we go.
If you didn't know, our sister company KCSU hosts all sorts of DJs who have individual tastes in music. We got to sit down to talk to DJ Yasmine Conchas, where she tells us a little bit about her show, Bruja with Yasmine.
So when I found this, I was like, wow, finally like a band that like gets me. Hi, my name's Yasmine Conchas. I'm a third year here at CSU, and my show is called Bruja with Yasmine, and I go by DJ Bruja on air. So DJ Bruja, or Bruja, is Spanish for witch, so basically I'm just like DJ Witch. I grew up in a Mexican-American household. My parents only speak Spanish, and my mom, she thought calling me Bruja was like one of the biggest insults ever. Me and my best friend Marvin, he would always be like, dude, you are a witch. Like, you like predicted this and this and this. So like, that's sort of how I came up with the name DJ Bruja. I kind of thought of reclaiming that word and making it something positive and fun. I would say we don't actually do witchcraft. Like, I feel like that's a misconception. So I'm gonna say that now. We don't actually do witchcraft. But what I do talk about is like, just spooky content. Mostly astrology. I would say I focus on that a lot. Some people think that is like a craft of its own. One of the most like exciting parts, I think, is that I do have the freedom here at the station to sort of do what I want with the show. So I play some music in Spanish, and I also like throw in some Spanglish here and there just because like that's how I grew up talking, so that's how I talk. I'll never forget one time I was playing a band called Los Románticos de Zacatecas, and so that band is from the state that my dad is from in Mexico, Zacatecas, and I said that on air, and there was a person outside the window, and I guess they were from Zacatecas too, so they just like reacted and they were like, yes, like Zacatecas, like way to go. So that was like awesome to like see someone react to that so positively. So I wanted to give spotlight to local bands or just bands that are international that maybe don't have a huge platform, but also they make punk music in Spanish or like all indie music in Spanish. So I just wanted to bring that in and make it part of KCSU as well, because they have a place here too. Okay, this is Los Románticos de Zacatecas Es Por Ti. First song I heard by them actually, so I haven't seen the music video though, so I'm excited. I'm assuming this was filmed in Zacatecas. Beautiful state, Zacatecas. Yes. The guitar picks up. Yes. Okay, where they're playing, they have like a religious figure, and that's such like a Mexican Catholic thing to do. Like, I just love that they did that. Pretty standard, like starting off indie band, like just them performing music video. So, you know, it's a good start. It's weird because growing up, like, I only listened to traditional Mexican music, so like rancheras, corridos, duranguense, which is like all I knew growing up, because my parents are very traditional and they don't listen to punk music. So when I found this, I was like, wow, finally like a band that like gets me.
Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet. Boy, better treat me with respect. Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet.
Yeah, I just want to say Brockhampton is so diverse, and like they just showcase every single person in the group, and I just love that. Okay.
Ice cream when I hit it with the sweet thing. Do my thing, no I do not do speaking. Till my shot pointed out like Ruth, man.
When I'm at parties and people are like, song request, I'm like, Gold by Brockhampton or Rental by Brockhampton.
Grab life by the horns when I whip the Lambo. Black on red like I whip the Sambo. Clip so long it'll make you mumble.
They're just so fun. I wish I could hang out with them someday. Like, they just seem like they're always having a good time no matter what they're doing. Yeah, so Bruja with Yasmine happens every Friday from 3 to 5 here on KCSU Fort Collins.
I loved Yasmine's reactions. She's so cool, she's so raw and real, and she's really passionate about her work as a DJ.
Oh yeah, Yasmine's so cool. We're actually RAs together, so that's how we know each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also like her spooky content. Do you believe in ghosts, Dane?
I do believe in ghosts, Maddie.
How come? Do you have any weird experiences?
Yeah, we used to hear like fingernails on the chalkboard as a kid. So scary.
That's terrifying. I'm a little bit of a skeptic, but I have a couple of weird stories. But
cool.
Don't let that scare you. You're not going to want to miss what's coming up next after the break.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back from the break, everyone. I'm sure you all have heard at least one song from Post Malone, and no, it's not Rockstar. It's Post Malone's Take What You Want from his newest album, Hollywood's Bleeding. This song features legendary rock star Ozzy Osbourne and rap sensation Travis Scott. Odd collaboration? Well, let me break it down for you.
What up, local beats? My name is Maddie Steele, and today we're doing a lyric breakdown of Post Malone's Take What You Want From Me with Ozzy Osbourne and Travis Scott. Not only am I a huge rap hip-hop fan, but I love Ozzy Osbourne. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm a huge classic rock fan. And the fact that Ozzy, the one and only Ozzy Osbourne is collaborating with Post Malone and Travis Scott. That is so dope. Like, so freaking cool. But also, huge, awesome opportunity for Post Malone. Post Malone already targets the younger generation, so the fact that he adds Ozzy Osbourne into this song, his audience expands to younger and older generations because, Ozzy Osbourne is a legend. And Travis Scott is also freaking amazing. Plus, his new song is really, really good. Diving into it, in the first verse with Post Malone,
You showed your tongue and it was forked in two. Your venom was lethal. I almost believed you.
So the whole point of the song, he fell for the wrong girl, and unfortunately it sounds like it's an abusive relationship. So Post Malone pretty much talks about his experience in this abusive relationship and straight up calls this girl a snake. Who broke your heart, Post Malone? No, but like, comparing someone to a snake is such an insult. So this person is clearly not trustworthy. This person is venom and very toxic. Snakes are used for someone who's manipulative, so that kind of falls into that abusive behavior. He uses this snake imagery to like represent this person in the relationship. The whole point is like forked into two. They're clearly talking about a snake.
I feel you crumble in my arms down to your heart of stone.
Wow. You bled me dry just like the tears you never show. Wow. Not only is that extremely poetic, but I feel This person is just feeding off of Post Malone and just taking each and little bits of their body, kind of just using them, especially with that manipulative, abusive behavior, is just crippling Post Malone. So another really, really interesting one with Travis Scott. So pretty much like everything that you've done, I'm going to make them good and make something out of it. I feel the pain, even just like reading the lyrics. You don't even have to listen to the song to feel this pain. I don't know, I think it's so insanely powerful. And plus, the guitar solo at the end is phenomenal. Oh my gosh. I think it was a smart move. They're definitely expanding their audiences to younger and older generations, maybe even people who don't know Ozzy Osbourne now do. That's super cool. I love this.
Awesome. So have you ever heard that song before, Dane?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, so it's actually top 40 in the Billboard, and which was really, really interesting. And it also, my dad's reaction when he first heard that song was super funny. He's a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan as well. We both grew up with classic rock, and he never heard of Post Malone before. And I just thought that was really interesting. He loved the song, especially the last guitar solo.
Yeah, it's an absolute crazy train. Much like Ozzy Osbourne and Post Malone connecting different generations to their music, Latin American band Zeta is connecting to a wider audience via a DIY collective known as La Casa La Costa. What up everyone, my name is Dane Aragon. Today I want to talk about a really cool music collective group focusing mainly in the realm of hardcore music. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a big fan of this genre of music. Bands like Touche Amore, Counterparts. In my global media class last semester, I had the opportunity to write about a music collective somewhere in the global south. Upon my findings on the internet, I came across a DIY collective known as La Casa La Costa. Based in Venezuela, South America. La Casa La Costa, headed by band Zeta, is a do-it-yourself, DIY kind of art collective, essentially meaning everyone's coming together, may it be the clubs, the music, the art, and they're kind of helping each other out to make a spread of music, reaching their music out. They have graphic designers, artists, they do music videos. I find that most people tend to relate hardcore music with the United States, but actually it spreads much further than that. There are many groups like Personal Device, Jose y el Toro, La Fiesta Animal. Zeta has had the opportunity to perform on Audio Tree, and Tiny Elephant, which are well-known audio sessions based on YouTube. This kind of DIY collective, do-it-yourself, is really important to recognize that this ethic isn't just based in American hardcore scenes. This kind of mentality can be seen all over, and La Casa La Costa is just a prime example of doing it yourself. Another band that is involved in this group is No Somos Marineros, which translates to We Are Not Sailors. I was very interested in finding math rock groups or emo groups from Latin America, and with a little bit of research, I discovered No Somos Marineros, and what's interesting about them is their sound is emo or emotional hardcore. A lot of screams and emotion in their voice, which also translates to their instrumentation, which is heavy and there's breakdowns. And even though my Spanish is subpar, I can still hear the emotion and that visceral feeling when I listen to their music. In conclusion, I would wish for people to think of music genres, scenes, collectives, as broader than just existing in the US. In fact, there are, now more than ever, there is an opportunity to get your music heard and known via the internet, and it's all about helping each other out. So, thanks for watching. This video is so cool to research and finding all the different art collectives that make up La Casa La Costa. And actually when I wrote the paper, Zeta was in Colorado Springs.
No way.
So it's so cool to see them like spreading out of South America to Central America, and like now they're going to the US. it's really amazing what you can do with the internet.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, especially for DIY bands. Like, it's so cool, that opportunity the internet has. And that whole, like, I absolutely love that. That was really interesting. But that is all the time we have for tonight. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for news and next month for another episode of Local Beats. For updates on all things music, I'm Maddie Steele.
And I'm Dana Aragon. Thanks, everyone, and have a great night.